Campbell and Makayla Casenelli. Throughout this presentation, we were able to meet via FaceTime, as well as communicating through the forums discussion on Sakai. And through that, we were able to work through all 5 rounds of the simulation together to hopefully achieve the overall productivity that we were looking for our Andrews company.
Okay, and at this point, we are going to introduce all 3 of ourselves from the executive directors of the Andrews company during our simulation. So first, my name is Brian Campbell. I was the marketing and human resource manager, where each year during our simulation, we were able to meet and I was able to work with the marketing and go about the department different ways while also making adjustments through the human resource section where they tied together.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Bush, and I did the research and development manager position. I basically I did research and development, and I also assisted where I was needed.
I'm Makayla Casenelli, and I served as the production manager for scheduling our inventory, as well as served as the chief financial officer throughout our finances.
Okay, so to start, we're going to do with research and development for year 4. So our products names were Able, Acre, Atom, Aft, Agape, and Apex, and they were for the segments traditional, low end, high end, performance, size, and low end. Again. And so for the performance of each, it was 7.1, 3.2, 9.6, 13, 4.7, 3.6. The size was 12.9, 16.8, 10.2, 13.9, 9.5, 16.5, and the MTBF was 18,500, 15,500, 24,500, 27,000, 20,000, and 14,000. For year 5, there wasn't many changes made, mostly just for the performance and size. The MTBF, there was only one change, and it was for Agape. So it was 7.8, 12.2, 3.7, 16.3, 12.2, 8.5, 13.4, 13.2, 6.8, 7.6, 3.6, and 16.1. So these are the perceptual maps for each year. Basically, what I did was I tried to keep our products within the circles. That way they would flourish throughout the years. We are labeled as the lime green ones in each of the circles. So overall in research and development, we started out with wanting to create a new product, and that was Apex. We had wanting to take the risk because usually whenever you do research and development, you want to invest as soon as possible. So we did that, and that was one of the positive things, is that we wanted to branch out and do that. But the negative thing about Apex is that it didn't do quite well, but we took the risk. And throughout round 0 to 5, I checked for the courier report each round, and I looked at the consumer expectations, and I placed the performance, the size, and the MTBF for each within the ideal range for each. And then I also looked at the competitors and what they were doing. So I wanted to slightly match what they were doing, but also stand out because we are a different company. And then after doing that, I would look at the perceptual map to see where we were coming from.
So within our marketing department, we had some decisions to do. So throughout this first section, introducing the marketing and the decisions we made, it actually ties in with our research and development. So within this, the responsibilities included multiple sections, including pricing, forecasting, and production methods. So the Andrews company attempted to pretty much create a market analysis where we had to defend, compete, and find different ways to prosper throughout a market that was extremely crowded. As we fought in the market and tried to make adjustments and become aggressive in years 4 and 5, we ran into some issues. But in the following slides, you're going to see how actually some of the decisions we made helped us out, not only with our leverage, but within our different market share. We started to compete as the market share from different companies dropped, and we actually went up a very small percentage. So we were going to see that in the years moving forward, even though we were aggressive early on and our profit wasn't exactly where we wanted it to be, we learned from different mistakes we made, and we were able to take these into future decisions with our research and development, our marketing, and all of our different departments working together. So within that, understanding the price within the market around us, we had to kind of think externally, even though we were making internal decisions very often. There became times where we were worrying too much about what other companies were doing instead of making specific decisions within us. So within that, taking advantage of the higher and lower end segments, even though one of our best products is doing well and competing at a very high pace, there needs to be times where we should have focused on more of our lower end products because they had a chance to get us more market share and get us out of a hole. So realizing the best option to get back into the market share, I think there could have been a best time in our opportunity cost of where to be aggressive, where to slow down, where to invest more, where to kind of relax, and where to put more of our money. So we have 3 different pictures here talking about our marketing during the year 4. So first on the left, talking about our asset turnover, our sales, our profits, competing with the other companies. So as we were the most aggressive company, we struggled in year 4 as our profits were under, but our market share was at 7.21%. As Digby and Erie, actually we're going to see in the next section, they were at 23%, and 23.46%, and Ferris at 20.73% go down, while Erie raises just a little bit. The other 2 companies, Baldwin and Chester, competed very well in the market as their percent of sales were higher than all 4 of the other companies. So our top products in the traditional segment within the Andrews company was Able. So within that, we had an 11% market share while we were selling that at $29.75. This is an example of what I was talking at in the slide before this. We had a chance to really take control of the market with Able and find different ways to promote that and market that. So as this was running well for us, we should have found ways to make our other products compete in the same way it was going. So down in the bottom right, it shows Able, Acre, Atom, AFT, Agape, and Apex. We decided to drop some of our prices, which you'll see in market year 5, but it was an okay decision for us to be aggressive, to see where it would go, what would happen. As you see here in market year 5, we went from 7.2 to 7.46 market share. Our profits didn't decrease as much, but Digby and Ferris, their market share decreased. So as we're trying to compete in the market right now and our profits haven't raised, it's going to be crucial for Andrews to find ways to make the profits higher and stay where we're at in the market share. So Able dropped down 3% as we dropped the list price down to $25. So moving forward, it's going to be important to raise Able back up because it was spending more and people were buying it more at a higher price. So marketing overall, providing more return on investment for options taken each year. Within the slides that you just saw, Andrews was able to stay exactly where they were at in the market and raise just a little bit without increasing their profits. So people are still buying the products and finding different ways to compete in the market, but the products aren't being sold at a very high rate. So this comes from being too aggressive when being behind in the market. Instead of taking risks and finding different ways to gain more market share, Andrews needs to find a way to get their products to a point to where other people are going to buy them instead of dropping prices too much. We saw what happened there with Able when it was being sold and bought at a high rate of 11%, dropping the price down made it sold at 8%. So going after the young products, meaning go and create new things, but don't try to sell them at a high pace. if Andrews is able to create new products and find different ways to sell them out in the market, not only is this going to raise the market share, but it's going to allow Andrews to find different ways to increase the profits. Andrews' biggest problem is that they got negative early, and we started to struggle from the get-go. And we continue to be aggressive, and make investments when we should have just focused internally instead of worrying what the other companies were doing externally. So some positives we took out of this, out of year 4 and year 5, learning from the other companies and seeing how they went about their prices can help Andrews get out of the hole. So out of the whole aspect and everything that is broken down, the market share, the profits, the return on investments, the whole picture is more important than just seeing how the company is under at that point. There's a lot of good things that's going on in Andrews, and for them to continue to move forward, there's going to be adjustments that need to be made. So more research is crucial to add more products moving forward. There comes an important time when being aggressive is too much, but creating the perfect product to be able to continue to compete in the market and find different ways for Andrews to get the profits higher is going to be important. So out of the market share, it's not too low, but there's important room to be made up. There's a bunch of different aspects that can be made from Andrews, and finding different ways to go out and get new products and sell them at the right pace is going to be important moving forward in year 6.
All right, so let's discuss